The thing of the matter is, we are so worried about everybody else that we are coming to a cusp in our life that it's okay to be selfish. Everybody is getting something out of everybody else but us. If you look at Biden, if you look at Chameleon Harris, I said it. If you look at Chameleon Harris, 1 minute is Asian, and the next, well, she was black. She went to HBCU and everything.
She checked all the boxes
until she got she won the vice president nod. Then all of a sudden she's Indian now. So let's talk about Indian Chameleon Harris.
She's
That's why I call her
one woman rainbow coalition.
Right, she's a one woman rainbow coalition. So we get to the point where she literally said, "I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people."
That's such a terrible statement.
But the movement will. Now, we get it now. Look, I know there's poor white folks. Okay? I know there's poor white folks that call us nigger too.
Yeah.
So when they call us nigger, I call them troglodyte, Neanderthal, caveman, white boys. You understand what I'm saying? I am clear that 3%ers are white. I am clear that neo-Nazis are white. I am clear that the KKK is white. KKK is corporate. Neo-Nazis are more suburban to country, to the country type. You know what I'm saying? So I am clear on who the enemy could be or possibly is. And I know there's some folks out there probably listening right now going, there's some good white folks too. Okay, asking for reparations.
Season 2 of Gentleman's History Hour is sponsored by HughRepublic.com, HUERepublic.com. Go to HughRepublic.com and get the latest colors to rep your hue. Gentleman's History Hour, Season 2. Microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? EQ. I go by the name of EQ, this Gentleman's History Hour, man. What's up, Brother Rob J? How you feeling, man?
Hey, man, I'm on a 9 out of 10 this week, man. Hey, and I'm Rob J 10X. And hey, we got a special guest in the building. We got brother Amun, Tekala, Imhotep, the founder and national commander of Anubis. And this is a special moment, because very rare. A lot of people talk about revolution, talk about, being in the streets on the front lines, what we need to do. But this is a brother who actually is living it. And it's a pleasure to have you here today, man.
Man, thank you for coming, bro.
It's definitely a pleasure to be here. We had a pre-build, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And man, when I tell you, it feels like home. It's definitely a pleasure talking to you brothers once again, especially vibing on this subject right here.
Oh yeah, man. We wanna get into your history first, man. Give us some of your personal history.
Well, my personal history, I am Haitian by nationality, by Beni Haiti. Retired United States Marine. Proud grandfather.
Nice.
Proud father of 2 grown sons and 1 grown beautiful daughter.
You look good, brother. I never.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, man.
Bro.
Appreciate it.
Black ain't cracking, bro.
I'm not gonna say your number, but when you told me, I was like, wow, man.
Yeah. Conscious hip hop artist still. I love my people with my entire being. I dedicated my life to my people. Once upon a time, I'm not gonna lie, I mean, no disrespect to the Christians out there, but once upon a time I was a youth pastor. I come from 5 generations of preachers.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So your blood, huh?
Yeah, my father was the Reverend Doctor.
Wow. Okay.
So after I left the pulpit, my religion became my people. And I love my people with my entire being, and I practice my people.
Was it a particular enlightenment moment that led you?
Yeah, it was.
Away from that?
It came from a sermon, man. I didn't write the sermon, but I remember it like it was yesterday. It's called I Can No Longer Live a Lie. And when I got in the pulpit, man, I went ham on everything in the church. Like, you sleeping with his wife, you sleeping with his wife, you gay, you doing this, you doing that. And I'm like, how we calling ourselves Christians when you saying praise Jesus, as soon as you walk outside, you see a homeless person, and you walk around, you turn your nose up at him. What kind of, or you see the drug addict, you turn your nose up at him. I can't live a lie no more. And that day I walked out the pulpit and I said, I will never sit in the pulpit again.
Man, had a hit him up moment. Man.
Right. Like pop. So I drove home. I said, God, I'm real confused right now. I don't know why I gave that sermon. I don't know why I'm feeling like I'm feeling right now. And I heard a voice before I went to bed. And this ain't a lie, y'all. I'm not saying this because I'm on TV. The voice was, it was a woman's voice. Son, I'm going to show you some things. And you're not going to like none of it. And we're going to start by you never calling me my father again.
Wow.
So I realized that my creator was a mother.
Wow.
Then, on top of that, the Bible says, study to show thyself approved, a workman not ashamed, rightfully divided in the word of truth. Truth is based on fact. Fact is based on proof. If I ain't seen it or nobody saw it, it didn't happen. That's when I started saying, this whole thing is a lie. You know, you talk about Jesus being in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. Who told the story?
He didn't tell it.
How many wives did Adam have? Adam was divorced by the time he met Eve. First wife was Lilith.
Wow.
So we don't talk about Lilith. So with Lily. Lily ain't do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or why didn't God kill Satan when Jesus was crucified?
So were these questions that you already had, or were these questions that came to you after your...
I had total blind faith.
Okay.
I had total, complete blind faith. I didn't question God because God would strike me down with what? Lightning, right?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that Jesus in Greek is pronounced Eosus, which means all hail Zeus, and Zeus is a god of what? Lightning.
Now you had this moment of enlightenment, and I know this because we starting with your history.
Right on.
How did your family take that? This generation.
Oh man,
preachers, did you go home and tell them, or were they there at the church during that sermon? And then,
they were there, and my father just kind of did this.
like he was like,
What's wrong with you, boy? And my mother was like, maybe he going through something. And
You
through
a
the years,
Muslim now?
Hey, right? Yeah. But now they saw me work in the community a lot. I first got in the community when I was going to see my sons one day, and I like play basketball. My sons, he liked basketball when he was a teenager, and I looked at the park and I saw some hypodermic needles. I stopped all activity, cleaned up the whole park. Then the next week I looked around, I saw the grass was high and stuff, so I got some brothers and sisters together. And my brother Sean Jackson, Trouble Man, salute brother, long time friend. We hung together, we was kids together, we done dirt together. This is my guy, it's my brother for life. He came over there with his landscape equipment and we just cleaned up everything, made everything nice. And I said, it's something into this. You know what I mean? And from then, that's what got me into doing community work.
so this was after leaving the church.
It's after leaving the church.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, it's something into this. I thought I was just doing something for my sons. That's my hearts. My sons are my hearts. My sons and my daughter. That's my babies. That's my heart. That's my future. So I do anything, man. I move a planet for my children. So after that, I'm thinking, hey, man, we got to take care of these kids out here. I'm seeing these kids out here gang banging, dying by the dozens.
Now, where were you at location-wise at this time?
I was in Houston.
You was in Houston. Okay.
Yeah.
What part of Houston?
I was living same place I'm living now. I live in Spring.
Okay.
I live in Spring, suburbs. But you can say what you want, man, but I like to live it's a black and brown suburb. I do like to live in quiet.
But around that time, this was in that same area? Around the Spring?
No, this was in Greens Point.
Okay. See, that's what I wanted to know.
No, I'm a fan of that now, man. Hey,
was...
look, I live in Spring, but I'm going to tell you something.
But during this time when you were out doing your community work,
this is
and it didn't start with anything big. It just started with cleaning up the neighborhood.
Right.
This is in Greens Point. And for people that don't know, Greens Point, the nickname is Guns Point.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was in Greens Point a lot. I worked at Fitness Connection as a personal trainer too. And this is where actually Anubis was even formed in Greens Point. Everything centralized happened in Greens Point.
Okay.
That's interesting now that
North side, bro.
North
North side, man.
What part?
I ain't Studewood.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mother's in Cynic Wood.
Yeah.
All right.
Sav is
All right.
Scenic Wood.
Okay. Yeah. I just rep Earth, though. I don't claim no side. I'm from Houston, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get to Anubis. How did that form? Hurricane Harvey hit, and I was a Black Panther. Mm-hmm. I left the Panther formation.
Now, is this what they call the New Black Panthers? Or?
The New Black Panthers.
Okay.
The New Black Panther Party. So I left that formation. I was pretty much a man without a country. Mm-hmm. And I saw Hurricane Harvey hit. And, it flooded in my neighborhood, but not too bad. Again, suburbs. I'm built on the slope, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But Greens Point was underwater. Mm. And I'm like, man, as soon as this water go down, I got to get out there. And as soon as it did, I got in my car and I drove out there. And man, the devastation that I saw, I had to do something. I had to. It was just in me. And I'm out here working. And they had this shelter. Was Old Macy's. That was at Greens Point Mall. It was Old Macy's. Okay. They changed it into a shelter. They didn't tell nobody.
So nobody knew it was available.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Nobody knew. So I get out of the gym. Imagine you coming out from a good workout, right? Mm-hmm. And you walking, you see this long line. You see a SNAP, okay, food stamps, all right, cool. You still walking. Then you look in and you see cots. Wait a minute, what's this? So I walked over to one of the people that had a Red Cross vest, and I was like, is this a shelter? Like, yeah. I was like, So I left. I threw on my old Panther uniform.
Oh, wow.
Came back. Said, I request to see these premises, please. So I walk in, I look around, man, I see brown recluses, roaches, black mold, little kids up in all black now. Wow. All black.
Wow.
No air conditioning, and the food they serving is way below par. Wow. So I get on the phone because by then I knew who National Black United Front was. I knew who Black Panther Party was.
These organizations in Houston.
Right. These organizations. I called every organization in Houston. We all get together. So we go out there, we swinging and banging, and I said, our people need help.
And to make it clear, grassroots.
Grassroots. All grassroots. Okay. So I tell myself, my people need help. So that's why Anubis was formed. Anubis was designed as a support unit. Not necessarily jump out there, be up front with everybody, but it's like, hey, if you need assistance, Anubis is here to get you six. And
Anubis is your company.
That's my unit.
Your unit.
Does that mean, is that an acronym? Does it mean something?
No.
Huh? Then they have
Anubis Ampu is an African name. Actually, Anubis has several names. It's like Ogun. Like we talked about Ogu, because I practice voodoo. When you talk about Anubis, is a Greek name. Why did I pick it? Because it's Greek. Because I like this cool name. So Ampu is the African name. Okay, Ampu. Eshu is his other name. In Voodoo, Baba Legba is Anubis. Okay. Because he's the keeper of the crossroads. He's the escort between life and death.
Hey, one thing that already stands out about what you're describing is a lot of brothers talk about change today, and it's change, but we got to get the 501c3. It's change, but we got to have a business plan. It's change, but we got to, organize and call up all the homies, get everyone on the same page. But you, in real time, saw a problem and just went to solving it without no thought, obviously with thought, but like without anything other than, I see a problem, let me solve it. And, have you always just been that type of take action person, or, just how did you avoid getting caught in the philosophy and the whole, we need this and all of this, and you just said, I'm going to just move with what I have?
You didn't make any excuses.
Well, it's a family lineage thing, man. I was always taught to do something. Don't just talk about it, be about it. My father was with an organization a long time ago, which is also Rainbow Coalition. You want me to hold that one?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Get into it.
He was with an organization called the Weathermen Underground. And they were really, I get this honestly. I get
revolutionary.
This I get this thing honestly. This is bloodline. This is rite of passage. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of it, my whole family is a bunch of doers. We see problems and we just go do it. It's not like, as a people, I hate those speeches. As a people, we need to unite. As a people, look, man, as a black man, as an African man, as an Haitian brother, as an Haitian Neteru, which is lesser God, I gotta lead by example. You got a lot of leaders, but you don't have nothing to lead by example. I have many that lead by example. Like you say, you need to unite. So you know what I make it a point to do? Every time a black man comes in a store, if I'm in a store, I make it a point to speak to him. If I'm just walking and passing, I make it a point to speak to him. Hey, peace, brother, how you doing? Yeah. He cannot speak back, but I'm gonna do it. A sister, every time she comes up to the door, I make it a point to open the door. I don't care if she's old or young. Open the door, move out of the way. Don't try to holler. Peace, sister, how you doing? Yeah. Open the door, let her through.
Let's talk about something. Your family, right?
Yeah.
Now, you come from a family of preachers, but also a family of doers. And I want to get into something when we're a history show, right? Gentleman's History
Let's
Hour.
do it.
Gentleman's History Hour. It ain't the flashies. Yeah. But
we're drinking.
We're getting flat-footed talking about history.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But we're doing it in a real fun way.
Right.
People didn't really understand at a certain point in time because of what they knew. That's what they knew. They had Christianity. They had the church. But there was some revolutionary spirits behind that. Now, we grow, we get conscious at a certain point, time. But if we go to the 60s, we'll just stop there. Let's start at the 60s.
Let's go.
And the civil rights component.
Okay.
Nonviolent civil rights. Them Negroes down south, right? What we hear from the north, man, y'all should have been busting y'all guns. Y'all was letting them white boys, Civil rights movement, a lot of times we get this romanticized, sanitized version that they show us. They don't show us the other side, that there were brothers that were armed during that time.
Right.
This is pre-Black Panther time. It's not 66. And one thing I did want to touch on was a brother named Robert F. Williams. He wrote the book called Negroes with Guns.
I see.
1950s now. He's from Monroe, North Carolina.
Okay.
Former Marine.
Simplify, do or die.
The other thing I want to touch on, we're going to touch on that, Deacons of Defense.
Okay.
Former war vets.
Okay.
You are.
Former war vet.
Something about that, man, that training. Now, we saying black men in the 60s. So Robert F. Williams, I say Robert F. so when people do the research, because if you put just Robert Williams, a whole bunch of basketball.
That's Meek Mill.
A whole bunch of 6'8" basketball players.
I know a dude named Robert F. Williams.
Meek Mill, Robert Williams.
Yeah.
He actually started a rifle charter. And for, just to give the brief history, he was responsible for integrating a pool and a library. And he was the president of the Monroe, North Carolina NAACP.
Okay.
Now, them Negroes wanted to practice nonviolence. He made a statement, the Klan was lynching black folks. He said, well, they lynch us, we need to lynch them. Them Negroes say, oh, no.
That's the reason behind that. I'm going to let you keep riding.
Needless to say, what'd you say?
There's a history in the NAACP. I'm going to let you keep riding.
Oh, yeah. So he, of course, he cut ties with the NAACP because he wanted to ride. He's like, hey, he started a rifle club in Monroe, North Carolina. And we just saying this is the 50s going up into the early 1960s. 60s. Of course, he had to flee and go to Cuba. They accused him of kidnapping some white folks.
Right. Yeah, I was shocked to learn about it because I went to HBCU. Took some African American history. Never heard of Robert F. Williams. Never heard of Deacons of Defense.
So he came first, and then the Deacons came later. And this is just to give context as we talk about what you do, because now we get into the protection segment of the show.
Okay.
And understanding the culture down south, the nonviolence, of course, like you said, NAACP, we could do a whole episode on on that.
Man, don't make me break that history down, because a lot of you are a lot of good black Americans, y'all's gonna be upset.
Especially if you start talking about who founded it. But
that's what I was gonna start with right there.
So you got this brother that's actually doing, we call it self-defense training.
Right. Okay.
Self-defense training to combat what the Klan was doing. So it's like, hey, we're not gonna sit by and let y'all terrorize us. And we don't arm ourselves. This is in the South. Then we move up to the Deacons of Defense. Because Brother Williams had to flee. He got those charges. He got protected in Cuba. Then he ended up in China.
Right.
He eventually came back because they dropped the charges. But he left, had to go to Cuba. He and his wife. Deacons of Defense came around 1964. These are just, look, citizens, war vets training other black people.
Right.
To protect all our nonviolent heroes, all of them civil rights Negroes that they plaster on us. Who was protecting them when they was giving those speeches? Who was standing outside with the shotguns? It was the deacons.
Man, and I think it's interesting that historically, that part is not, it's basically, just edited out of, our history. So many times and through this journey, even with the GHH journey, so many times it's shocking to learn about the revolutionary spirit that's always been there, because it's always been edited out of the story, and we've always got the most sanitized version of anyone that we are presented with. So,
they did make a movie on the Deacons of Defense that
dope movie too.
Bill Duke produced. Forrest Whitaker was in it to give. So they were protecting organizations like CORE, Congress of Racial Equality, that was coming down to help set up the voting booths. And now they had charters in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. We talking about the deep South. Once again, Klan territory. Once again, encouraging black people, arm yourself. The Klan was doing whatever they wanted until these working class war vets got together. They worked in the steel mills. A lot of them were just working class guys that couldn't really give their identity a lot of times. Now, some people may say, well, man, they were fighting as integrationists. Hey, you got to take the good with the bad. Whatever your stance is on integration, segregation.
You mind if I touch on that?
Go, let's drive it.
Here's a fun fact during that time. This is the first time in movement history, so to speak, that we have actually decided to segregate movement-wise. In the 60s, everything was a rainbow coalition. Chairman Fred Hampton wanted to build a rainbow coalition.
Yeah. Founded it. This is pre-Jesse Jackson.
Yes. And actually, there were White Panthers, too.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, just for people watching that don't know, by rainbow coalition, you mean like multiracial?
Multiracial,
okay.
Melting pot. Here's the thing, because the question lies now, why is everybody so extreme to the point where they literally are going to black only, black first and black only? Well, because we's done playing Martin Luther King. The thing of the matter is, we are so worried about everybody else that we are coming to a cusp in our life that it's okay to be selfish. Everybody is getting something out of everybody else but us. If you look at Biden, if you look at Chameleon Harris, I said it. If you look at Chameleon Harris, 1 minute is Asian, and the next, she was black. She went to HBCU and everything.
She checked all the boxes.
Until she got she won the vice president nod. Then all of a sudden she's Indian now. So let's talk about Indian Chameleon Harris.
She's
That's why I call her
one woman rainbow coalition.
Right, she's a one woman rainbow coalition. So we get to the point where she literally said, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people.
That's such a terrible statement.
But the movement will. Now, will. We get it now. Look, I know there's poor white folks. Okay? I know there's poor white folks that call us nigger too.
Yeah.
So when they call us nigger, I call them troglodyte, Neanderthal, caveman, white boys. You understand what I'm saying? I am clear that 3%ers are white. I am clear that neo-Nazis are white. I'm clear that the KKK is white. KKK is corporate. Neo-Nazis are more suburban to country, to the country type. You know what I'm saying? So I am clear on who the enemy could be or possibly is. And I know there's some folks out there probably listening right now going, there's some good white folks too. Okay, asking for reparations.
Yeah.
They cool until you say
somewhere
that.
clapping right now.
Yeah.
They cool until you say that.
I'm loving this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you want me to embrace this rainbow coalition, I'm not worried about your interests no more. See, back then in those days, they were worried about white interests.
Yeah.
And the white interest was political. White, right wing, left wing. See, this ain't civil rights. Let's get this thing clear, okay? This is not a civil rights issue. That's where they messed up with. That's why they did the coalition, because the Rainbow Coalition. The Rainbow Coalition was based on civil rights. When you talk about human rights, that's a black issue all by itself.
Well, everybody can eat off of civil rights.
Everybody can. That's what I'm saying.
Everybody eating off of it.
Everybody can.
Yeah.
But when you talk about human rights,
Yeah.
when you talk about Geneva Convention laws, when you talk about stuff that could affect the UN,
Yeah.
when you talk about stuff that, hey, we haven't gotten this, we haven't gotten that, what about us? Now you have to be selfish. We can't include white folks in this.
So let's
Go ahead.
let's travel.
Let's do it.
So now we
Bus pass or train, which one?
You know what? We
Taking it.
We jogging?
Yeah. We getting the
we
workout.
jogging.
We getting the workout.
How many miles? I drink my water.
100 miles a running.
Drink my water. It's kind of like water.
I like
Got water in
So,
it.
in the spirit of self-defense, you have the deacons. They were short-lived. But
Okay.
I wanted to touch on that just so to give people context on the South at that time. 'Cause of course, we knew what was going on up north. And I read something recently, it made some sense. The violence, we can take it all the way back to the Revolutionary War, the
Okay.
United States and the British.
Okay.
It's always been the acts of violence in protest, right? You got revolution and you got protest.
Right.
There's, in this country, racial violence, and there's been racial violence, and there's been the violence of the workers, strikes, unions, that type of violence. And I'm just saying that to say America is built on a foundation of violence. But when it came to black people, and we were pushing for peaceful, nonviolent protests, we still had to have a component behind the scenes to protect the black people fighting for the peaceful protest that gets written out of the history books that we don't talk about. Because whenever we want to pick up a gun and start defending ourselves, then it's a problem.
Why
it's
do
not
we-
a problem until
Why do we
you
have to
wanna
be
defend
behind the
yourself.
scenes? I'm over being behind the scenes.
Well, now, so I'm saying that, and we jogging,
Come on.
and we jogging
I
up
was
to
running a little
now.
too fast.
No, and we jogging up to now, and getting into the specifics, the meat and potatoes of your organization. Now, you
Okay.
gave us some history. You gave us your history. Now we want to start talking about the fundamentals of what you guys do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, what we do is we take care of our direct community. Domestic violence rescues. I identify stuff that is literally happening in our community. Okay? The big ticket issues that are happening around the world, not really my concern. Because I understand and comprehend that as you wake up in the rising, you got to go outside.
Yeah.
And if you're in the hood, you're going to walk across a woman that's been beat up. You're going to walk across a drug dealer or 5 gangbangers or 20.
Yeah, charity starts at home. Yeah.
Or 100. So I take it back to the day that I was cleaning up hypodermic needles in my son's apartment complex, right? So with that being said, I can't address all this other crap until I do I conduct domestic violence rescues. Okay? I can't call myself a true liberator until I can assist this sister in liberation from an oppressive husband.
Let's talk about that, man, because
Talk about it.
we've heard protect the black woman. That was
Right.
a slogan that was going around, and a lot of sisters were saying, I don't feel protected, I don't feel protected. So now we're talking about your organization. A component of your organization is to go and rescue.
Protect sisters who cannot defend themselves. Yes.
See, that's one of the things of having a space and having a platform. Because a lot of times we take stuff and we run with it. And I'm not saying that's not valid. Because I know during the Breonna Taylor, that became a slogan. But sometimes we think about what we don't have, but we don't give attention to what we do have. So it's easy to say black women aren't protected, but who's waving the flag for the organizations and the people that are in place to do what you're doing and protecting?
Well, I have to give homage and props to Reviving and Restoring Pearls, which is a domestic violence advocacy group. That's who I do those missions directly for. You know, Sister Yumiki Harmon, she really is instrumental in having us involved with that. And man, we met some phenomenal sisters just saving lives.
Can you explain kind of when you say those rescues, can you give us an example of what that's like? You get a phone call, you got to go to the house, like
I'll give examples without giving scenarios, if that makes sense, for OPSEC purposes. But I will get a phone call from a person. I talk to this person, and then I ask a person if they're in fear for their life. And they say, yes, I am. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, what happened? This. I give them a magic phrase. Because you know everybody will say, what if they go back? I give them a magic phrase. Sister, if I go out here, I'm putting my life on the line for you. I promise you, if you go back, do not call me.
That's real. Put some accountability.
You're going to have to follow instructions to the letter. And when I do it, if you go back, do not ever call me again.
That's real.
Are we on track? Yes. If I ask you to get rid of your cell phone, will you? Yes. All right, copy that.
And sometimes these women have kids too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Most of the time they got kids. So we go out and we conduct the mission, and we'll take them where they have to go. I can't give too much information.
No, I got you. I understood. I just wanted for because some women that may watch this show may be in that situation.
Well,
and they may feel like they don't have.
I tell sisters like this: you definitely do. If you have that type of scenario, may I do this right quick? Get my information.
Sure. That's what this
go to anubiscommander@gmail.com if you have the scenario. anubiscommander@gmail.com.
Got to spell Anubis.
ANUBIS commander COMMANDER@gmail.com. There's no reason that a sister needs to be in a scenario where she's being threatened with her life every single day. When you literally have a unit that can not only get you out of the situation, but literally relocate you to where you don't exist. So if you're in that situation, just call us. Okay, no judgment, no nothing. Let's just get it done because I want you safe. So, okay, on that component, that's one. We also feed the homeless.
Wow.
We also clothe the homeless. We take care of our brothers and sisters, man. Matter of fact, I got a comedic science class I teach with children.
Wow. Hey, the evolution of this too, like how did it go from seeing a park that needs lawn, seeing a center that isn't meeting health standards, to like doing evacuations of women that are domestic violence victims? It
all goes around community needs. Our people need help. It was one phrase. When I was in the middle of Hurricane Harvey, when I founded Anubis, it was just me in the middle of a hurricane.
Wow, okay.
And I said, our people need help. It's not limited. That's one phrase. That's a general phrase. What do you need help in? Man, what don't our nation need help in?
True.
Everything. We need help.
You took action though.
Yeah.
Some people just stop at that.
Right. You gotta move, man. It's not. Look, it's deeper than a protest, man. When you protest to me, I see civil rights. When you act, I see human rights.
Yeah.
You know, it's like IHN. We don't sit around and play with somebody trying to doggone put you in chains. All right, it's like putting a wild lion in the zoo for the first day. Have fun. You're going to get ate. You know, but at the end of it, somebody has to do something. It's deeper than walking down the street, even with guns. Have I been on marches? Yes. Yeah. But even those marches had a cause. It has to have a cause. I'm at the point in my life now to where I'm looking at what's going to happen. This is what I asked myself. The same thing I asked myself on when I was in the Marine Corps, when we went to Iraq. If I died today, what will I be remembered as?
Legacy. Good shit.
United States Marine, Special Operator, blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. Now that I got the right mindset, right? What am I going to be remembered as? A man that loved his people with all of his heart and all of his energy. No, the Bible, you know, I used to be a preacher.
Yeah,
the Bible says, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy might. And it also says, trust the Lord thy God, lead not to thy own understanding. And always acknowledge him and he will direct thy path, right? So, here's a contradiction. The book of Isaiah says, ye are the God's children of the Most High. People don't put this stuff together.
Yeah.
So I do trust the Lord thy God with all thy heart, lean not to my own understanding. And always acknowledge her, and she will direct my path.
So, like, you know, what you saying that right now, you know, kind of harkens us back to season 1. We did a Black Panther episode, and it reminds me of Bobby Seale. The day Malcolm X was killed, he made a decision. He said, I'm going to be my own Malcolm X. You know, and that decision led to action, you know, and I think what you're displaying right now is just what I believe can be a model that us as a community can look at, like, hey, you see a problem, take action, you know. And to be honest, like, I've seen a problem recently where I feel like there's, with the increase in gun violence, you know, that mothers of, you know, Black, you know, people who have died of gun violence, somebody should be there. Somebody should check on them, you know, see how they doing. Do they need help with groceries or ride to church, you know? But I ain't gonna lie, after I had the idea, I became a philosopher. I didn't, you know, so I didn't act on it. But hearing you, I'm hearing a way of life that's like, it's simpler and it's more effective, you know? And I think we get so caught up in philosophizing about the problem, and you just you in straight solution mode.
Life is so simple. Life is really simple. We make it so complicated. Let me ask you a question. What is your definition of a warrior?
It's not my definition, but I heard it from Jocko Willink.
I want your definition.
My definition of a warrior would be someone who steps up to every challenge with 100% effort and courage would be like my definition.
Okay. What's your definition of a warrior?
A fighter, but a thinker.
Okay. Dr. Marimba Ani, my mama Marimba. Warriors confront what needs to be confronted and let the chips fall where they may. Dr. Marimba Ani. That's my spiritual mother.
She wrote the book. She wrote?
Yeah, she did Warriors.
Yeah.
That's and Dr. Malima Bomanike Barudi is also my spiritual father. Literally, I ain't talking about I watch him on YouTube. I call him. That's my father. So, all right. Here's the thing, y'all. It's time for warriorhood. Black men and black women. And I'm gonna explain that one. It is time for warriorhood. We are dealing, the ancestors have revealed to me that this is our last chance. It's bad when the ancestors are sick of your ass. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is our last chance. We are a failed race. You understand? We are a failed nation. Failed on many levels. The ancestors saying, this is your last chance. And Professor James Small said it best when I met him. He said, Amun, there's going to be a time Well, you're going to have to realize you cannot wake up every single black person out there. You're going to have to let some of these niggas die. Because at the end of the day, there's black folks and there's niggas. You're going to have to understand the difference, split them apart, let these niggas die. Because some don't want to be saved. Some's okay with Massa. Massa ain't done nothing to me.
Well,
don't that sound familiar? Harriet Tubman said I would have saved thousands more slaves. I had said no. I said a couple hundred slaves. I'd have said 1,000 if they only knew they were slaves. Our people do not realize we are still in mental bondage. I did a song called "Do You Know What You Are?" And I said, even though you don't have bars in front of you, you still live in prison. I was talking about the ghetto.
Yeah.
The hood. The projects.
So,
yeah.
The tone, talking about the deacons of defense, talking about Negroes with guns. The other component, the self-defense component. Can we touch on that?
Yes, we can. I think that every black man, I'm gonna say it in the mic, I think that every black man, every black woman, hell, every black child has the undisputable right to defend themselves. And that ain't just in basis of the Constitution of the United States of America. That ain't based on the Texas Constitution. That is based on God-given right to defend yourself by any means necessary. That is a cliche phrase. You know why I say that? Because we'll say by any means necessary, but as soon as we hit a speed bump, we slow down. When I say by any means necessary, I'm that dude doing 55 miles an hour in a speed bump right there, and I'm still doing 55 miles an hour. I don't care if it crosses my suspension. I'm still driving 55 miles an hour because I'm trying to get from point A to point B in a certain amount of time. If I got to swerve around it, that's fine. But most likely, I'm just going over it.
But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said to study the white man, right? And the white man from the inception of this country has made it a priority to have access to firearms. And they have never shied away from, and they're not willing to break rank with that. They will fight to the death for that.
Yeah.
Whereas in our community, we kind of viewed firearms as, something that may be, a street thing, a dangerous thing, and we haven't clung to. I'll say collectively we haven't. There are some people who own, but how much do you feel like in that self-defense needs to look like us arming ourselves? You know several different martial arts. What are some of the essential qualities that you think, just as a whole, every black man by default, I'll speak particularly to the men, but by default we should know? Should we all know a form of martial arts of how to work a weapon, in your opinion, or?
Yes, I think you should be trained on weaponry. I think you should be trained on at least one form of martial art. But here's the funny thing, we already are. Here's the problem. The problem is self-accountability. The problem is courage. See, we ain't scared of no nigga. You heard that before? Yeah. I ain't scared of no nigga.
It's
but boy,
to kill
it's
niggas
something about
like
them white folks that scares the hell out of us. That's the missing component. We can scrap with each other, middle of the street. Let's go. What's up? They put on World Star and everything else, right?
Yeah.
But when you got somebody that is literally trying to take your life, like we'll say we need all this formalized training. Like the white man is so high tech or something. No, you don't. You need cojones or you need ovaries. At the end of it, because we getting killed in the middle of the street. But here's the funny thing. I've seen several YouTube videos. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead now.
I've seen several YouTube videos where black man will say something to another black man and they will start scrapping immediately. I see a white woman say something to a black man or a white woman say something to a black woman, and for 15 minutes, I'm not a threat. I'm not doing anything. I don't know why you're doing this. This. Why not beat that? Why not fight them? I'm sorry, I had to catch myself. Why not fight them like you fight each other? That is the missing component.
Well, I believe that confidence comes from preparation. You know, like you.
Very true.
You said that earlier today. Like you're skilled enough to where you could kill us. You know, say in various different ways. Mm-hmm. So because you have that skill, you have a confidence. You can walk in peace. You know, because you're a dangerous man.
But he also said it's a discipline that comes with
discipline.
it as well.
So that's what I'm saying. Right. But I understand the discipline part. But I think some of that discipline, some of that confidence comes from your preparation. Right. You know, you can afford to be peaceful. You're a well-behaved lion. Well, for the general society, it's not lions. So how do we get to that point? You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to, a lot of people just aren't prepared. They lack the information. They lack the.
Well, here's a funny thing about discipline. You have to want it first. Mm-hmm. Even when I joined the Marine Corps, or even when I studied my martial arts discipline, right? All three of them. I had to want it. I had to want it so bad that that's all I really thought about.
Okay.
If you want liberation, it's going to require discipline. Yeah, you can get the martial arts training. Will the Moon jump out and find a blood set or a Crip set and teach him everything he knows about weapons? Hell no. You know why? Because how do I know that you're not going to take those same weapons and tactics I taught you just now and go kill a Crip set? Those still your brothers. Yeah. But if they were willing to be disciplined enough to transform from niggas to gods, now we on to something.
Okay.
Now you don't see a Crip no more. You see your brother.
You see an ally.
Yeah.
You see an ally. You see a friend. You understand that Crip stands for severe community rehabilitation in progress. And you understand that blood don't just mean better look out or die. It means brotherly love overcomes on the ride of destruction and suffering. But it also means at the end, Black Liberation Organization of Defense. So you put those two together, you actually have an army. You got a government right there.
Somewhere down the line, it was a disconnect and it never went back.
It's called drugs.
Now you have like
Facts.
Whether we go back to Robert F. Williams, whether we go back to the Deacons, it's all these leaders who have armed themselves, trained themselves. They all have this military background. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that Marine rites of passage, so to speak, is what empowered you to be able to operate, maybe not necessarily in the philanthropic space, but to be able to do an evacuation of a woman?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The rescue portion, absolutely. Because it's a certain glide. I know how to combat glide. I know how to move in. I know how to pie corner. Mm-hmm. I know how to, move in silence, cover and concealment, natural pointing, all that good stuff. Set this fire, the whole thing. I know that because of the Marine Corps. But funny thing about the Marine Corps is that we rebels. Marines were founded in a bar. People don't know that. Sun Tavern, 1775.
Okay.
It was founded in a bar.
Wow, okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah. And found a bunch of dudes fighting and drinking. They said, who wants to join the military? Me, right? So that it then came the Marine Corps.
Should we strategically, from a revolutionary standpoint, be maybe sending some of our youth to the military just purely for the information and training?
I don't know yet. I say no, because at the end of the day, you're serving the United States of America.
Okay.
We can take the same examples that we discussed to give context. You have enough people that went through that training that can come back.
That part.
And train the people so they don't have to go.
That part. So that's why my sons didn't go.
Because you have the training. You took that.
I took the sacrifice so they don't have to.
Yeah.
I took that ill. I got IED'd in Iraq, man, before I retired. So at the end of the day, I got in here, I am half a right foot, the other half is metal. I went through my war wounds and I got the PTSD and the nightmares and everything, so my sons don't have to.
Don't have to do it. Yeah.
But they still get the benefits of going to college if they want to, all the way up to a doctorate because of the Hazelwood Act, because I'm an injured vet, right? Mm-hmm. So at the end of it, I got a whole lot of tactical experience I can give to my people. Does that make me a terrorist? No, that makes me, I ain't got no bomb strapped to my chest. I ain't doing nothing illegal.
But you were trained.
It makes me trained. Yeah. That's what it makes me.
Yeah,
our people do need to be trained. That is most definite. That's first, foremost, and paramount, especially with all these weapons that we have. But at the same time, discipline first.
Yeah.
You got to be disciplined. We are running around with guns and have absolutely no discipline whatsoever.
Well, no discipline, no training.
Right. Hey,
I've been trying to, new thing I'm personally holding myself accountable to on these shows is putting it in motion. So last episode I did contact Heads Up. We got some things in motion with that. I bought the Carter G. Woodson book, so we'll have a giveaway on that. We
all
can
right,
set
look
that
at
up.
10X.
You know what I'm saying? So that'll be there. We can do that next week.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna put in motion from this conversation is by next show, I'm gonna have been to at least one martial arts place. I sign up for a firearms class because I've never taken one, and I'll contact at least one woman who's lost a child to gun violence to see if there's something I could do to help. That'd be my 3 things.
let me do one better. If you want training, all you gotta do is call me.
Oh well, sure, I'll call you. That's even better, even easier.
You got all 3.
Well, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up, man. But before we do, is it anything you want to just the last words you want to express and how to contact you, or just a final message?
You can reach me at I joke a lot on my Facebook page, man. Malcolm X was a big clown, so sometimes I clown too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Amun, Tekala, Imhotep is my Facebook. Mr. Dread is my Instagram.
Got it.
My final message is a quote from Minister Society, and I'll explain it. The hunt is on, and you are the prey. And all I'm asking you to do is survive. You could talk about the Ukraine. You could talk about wherever country you want to outside of the United States of America. But my family, you have not been American since you're black. You know what got off the slave ship. It is time for you to seize the day. It's time for you to seize the time. Am I telling you to do something crazy? Absolutely not. I'm telling you to love yourself. And it requires you to be disciplined. Disciplined. Stop hating on each other. Love each other. Truly, we can't trust each other. We trust the white man more than we trust each other. And that's sad because they want you dead. So it's time to do something. Be of action. That's it.
Equality.
Rob J10X, man.
Hey, bro, I want to thank you
My pleasure.
for the powerful words and
man,
everything that you're doing in the
most
community,
definitely,
man.
Thank you, just overall.
You know how Nori says on Drink Champs, you give people they flowers, man.
Yeah.
I just want to say salute to everything you're doing, man.
I appreciate it, man.
It takes a lot to have that idea and then to put it into motion and put it into action. So salute to you and everything that you're doing.
Well, in my tongue, I like to say a bibi for hodie, which means black liberation. So a bibi for hodie.
All right.
My love.
Gentlemen's History Hour, y'all. Peace.
Yep.
If you're watching this on YouTube, man, hey, y'all, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. This is Gentlemen's History Hour.